Your feet tingle at night. Your hands feel numb for no reason. You feel burning, stabbing, or electric pain that no doctor seems able to explain. What if I told you there is a poison you are probably exposed to every single day that is slowly destroying your nerves? And most people have absolutely no idea they are consuming it. This is not about managing pain. This is about stopping nerve damage before it becomes permanent. Stay with me for the next 17 minutes because what you are about to learn could save your nerves while you still can. I am Dr. Lauren Hayes. I have spent years helping seniors navigate nerve pain, numbness, burning feet, loss of balance, and something far too many people are told they simply must accept: neuropathy. One of the most consistently frustrating things I encounter is how often people are given the wrong explanation for why their nerves are failing. They are told it is age. They are told it is genetics. They are told it is completely inevitable. In many cases, none of that is accurate. Before we dive in, drop a comment with your age and where you are watching from today. Have you experienced tingling, numbness, or burning in your hands or feet? Did you know that blood sugar could be damaging your nerves even if you do not have diabetes? Write your answer below because awareness is genuinely the first line of defense. And once nerve damage crosses a certain threshold, we simply do not get second chances. Hit that subscribe button because I share strategies like this every single week to help you thrive after 60. Let me tell you about one of my patients named Frank. Frank was 68 years old, recently retired, and still physically active. But his feet burned at night. His toes felt numb throughout the day. Sometimes sharp electric pains shot through his legs without any warning whatsoever. He was told it was probably aging, maybe circulation, maybe just one of those things that happens to people his age. But when we looked deeper, we found something else entirely: a daily exposure. Something he genuinely believed was completely harmless was slowly poisoning his nerves. When we removed it, the damage did not reverse overnight, but it stopped getting worse. And that single change transformed everything for him. Here is what I want you to hold on to right now. What was that poison, and how many seniors are unknowingly consuming it every single day? To answer that, you need to understand something fundamental about how nerves actually function. Nerves are living tissue. They are not wires. They are delicate biological structures that depend entirely on oxygen, nutrients, and stable internal chemistry to function properly. Unlike skin or muscle, nerves heal extremely slowly. That means damage accumulates quietly over time. Long before you feel pain, tingling, or numbness, your nerves may already be under serious attack. And here is where things become genuinely uncomfortable. The worst poison destroying the nerves of seniors is not something dramatic like industrial chemicals or rare environmental toxins. It is not even alcohol by itself. The worst poison is something far more common, something many seniors are actually encouraged to consume regularly without any concern whatsoever. The worst poison destroying your nerves is chronic blood sugar toxicity. And this is absolutely critical to understand clearly. You do not need to have diabetes for blood sugar to destroy your nerves. You only need repeated spikes. And millions of seniors experience those spikes every single day without ever knowing it. When blood sugar rises too high, sugar molecules attach themselves directly to nerve fibers and to the tiny blood vessels that supply them. This creates inflammation, oxidative stress, and progressive damage to the protective coating surrounding nerves. Over time, nerves lose their capacity to send clean, reliable signals. That is when tingling starts, then numbness, then burning, then pain, then loss of balance. One of the most persistent myths in senior health is that neuropathy suddenly appears out of nowhere. It does not. It develops silently, often for years, while the poison continues working steadily in the background. Let me ask you something important. Have you ever been told you are borderline diabetic, pre-diabetic, or that your blood sugar is a little elevated but nothing to be seriously concerned about yet? That is often precisely where nerve damage begins. Studies now consistently show that pre-diabetes causes nerve damage almost as frequently as full diabetes. The critical difference is that most people with prediabetes have absolutely no idea they have it. They feel reasonably well, they assume everything is fine, and meanwhile, the poison is working silently. Now, I want to pause here because this is the moment where many women say, "But I eat healthily," and I truly believe that. Most of my patients believe that too. That is exactly the problem. The poison is not obvious. It hides inside foods and daily habits that appear completely healthy on the surface. Let me walk you through precisely how this poison works step by step. You eat something that spikes blood sugar. Your body releases insulin to push that sugar into cells. Over time, cells become increasingly resistant. Sugar stays in the bloodstream longer than it should. Nerves, especially the long, delicate nerves in your feet and hands, are exposed to toxic sugar levels again and again. The tiny blood vessels feeding those nerves become progressively damaged. Oxygen delivery drops. Nerves slowly starve. And because this happens so gradually, people never connect the dots. They say things like, it came out of nowhere, when in reality, it has been building silently for years. Here is another question worth considering. If blood sugar toxicity is so damaging, why do not all seniors with elevated sugar develop neuropathy? The answer lies in exposure frequency, duration, and individual nerve resilience. Some nerves tolerate damage longer than others, but once damage crosses a certain threshold, symptoms appear, and they often accelerate rapidly from that point forward. Now let us talk about where this poison actually comes from in everyday life. The first major source is liquid sugar. Fruit juice, sweetened coffee drinks, sports drinks, and even so-called healthy smoothies. Liquid sugar enters the bloodstream extremely rapidly because there is no fiber present to slow absorption down. That creates sharp, dramatic spikes that directly harm nerve tissue. Seniors are frequently told that juice is easy, convenient nutrition. In reality, it is one of the fastest ways to poison your nerves quietly and consistently day after day. The second major source is refined carbohydrates consumed alone. Bread, cereal, crackers, rice, pasta, especially when eaten without any protein or healthy fat alongside them. These foods break down into sugar quickly and efficiently. Seniors are often advised to choose easily digestible foods, but easy digestion very frequently means rapid sugar release directly into the bloodstream, and that sugar has nowhere to go except onto vulnerable nerve tissue. The third major source is constant snacking throughout the day. When insulin remains elevated continuously, nerves never receive a genuine recovery window. There is no restoration period at all. This is precisely why continuous grazing is especially damaging for nerve health. Nerves require stable internal conditions to survive. Constant sugar exposure keeps them in a perpetual state of low-grade inflammation. Now, here is something most people never hear discussed openly. Certain medications can quietly worsen nerve damage by interfering with nutrient absorption, particularly B vitamins. Certain acid-blocking medications, diabetes drugs, and cholesterol medications can deplete B12 levels gradually over time. B12 is absolutely essential for maintaining the protective myelin sheath surrounding nerves. Without adequate B12, nerves become fragile and begin misfiring. Let me tell you about another patient, Susan. She had numb feet for years. Every doctor she saw attributed it to normal aging. When we evaluated her nutrient levels, she was severely deficient in B12. The cause was not her diet. It was a medication she had taken faithfully and consistently for years without question. Once that deficiency was properly corrected, her nerve damage stopped progressing, not reversed, but stopped advancing further. And that made all the meaningful difference in her daily quality of life. Neuropathy is rarely caused by any single factor alone. It is typically a combination of blood sugar toxicity, chronic inflammation, nutrient depletion, and compromised circulation working together. But blood sugar toxicity is the accelerant. It is the gasoline on the fire that makes everything else progress faster and more aggressively. This matters because nerves have a tipping point. Early damage produces tingling or numbness. Later damage causes pain, serious balance problems, falls, and ultimately loss of independence. Once nerve cells die, they are extraordinarily difficult to regenerate. That is precisely why stopping the poison early is so critically important. Here is what I need you to hear clearly. Neuropathy is not always reversible, but in many cases, it is entirely preventable from getting worse, and preserving what you have can protect your quality of life for years to come. If you are finding this valuable so far, please go ahead and hit the like button. It genuinely supports this channel and helps us reach more seniors who desperately need this information. Which brings us to the most important question. If blood sugar toxicity is the poison, what neutralizes it? What actively protects nerves? And what practical changes can seniors implement to stop nerve damage from progressing further? This is where most people expect complicated answers. They expect extreme dietary protocols, expensive treatments, or miracle supplements. The truth is considerably simpler, and that is precisely why it is so consistently overlooked. The first and most important step in protecting your nerves is stabilizing blood sugar, not aggressively forcing it down, not obsessively chasing perfect numbers, simply keeping it steady and consistent. Nerves do not require perfection. They require consistency. Every sharp spike in blood sugar is essentially a small chemical injury to nerve tissue. Fewer spikes mean less cumulative damage. That single principle alone can slow or even halt progression. Here is the single most important rule I teach every senior woman dealing with neuropathy, and it is something most people have genuinely never been told before. Never eat carbohydrates alone, not fruit alone, not bread alone, not crackers, not cereal, not rice in isolation. Carbohydrates, consumed without any accompanying protein or fat, enter the bloodstream too rapidly. Blood sugar rises sharply, insulin surges, and nerve repair shuts down completely during that spike. But when carbohydrates are eaten alongside protein or healthy fat absorption slows dramatically. The identical food that damages nerves when eaten in isolation becomes considerably safer when consumed correctly as part of a balanced combination. This single rule explains why some seniors develop severe neuropathy while others with seemingly similar diets do not. It is often not what you eat, it is how you eat it and what you eat it alongside. Let me give you a concrete real-world example. One of my patients, James, 74 years old, came to see me because his legs felt weak and unsteady by early afternoon every single day. He had burning feet at night and numb toes throughout the day. He was completely convinced he was eating cleanly and doing everything right. Every morning, he drank a fruit smoothie containing banana, mango, juice, and yogurt. What he did not understand was that the liquid sugar from that smoothie was hitting his bloodstream before his muscles and nerves had any nutritional protection whatsoever. We eliminated the smoothie entirely. We replaced his morning meal with eggs and vegetables. We moved a small portion of fruit to later in the day, consumed after a complete meal rather than as a standalone liquid breakfast. Within weeks, his nerve pain had eased noticeably. His balance improved meaningfully. His energy sustained itself through the afternoon instead of collapsing. Nothing miraculous happened. We simply stopped poisoning his nerves, and his body responded exactly as it was designed to. The second major step is eliminating liquid sugar completely and permanently. No juice, no sweetened beverages of any kind, no smoothies made with fruit juice as a base. Even 100% natural juice is essentially pure sugar, stripped of the fiber that makes whole fruit safe for nerve health. Fiber is precisely what slows absorption and protects nerves from sugar spikes. Without it, sugar hits the bloodstream fast and hard, and nerves bear the full consequence. If you want fruit, eat it whole in small portions and never on an empty stomach. Fruit consumed after a complete meal is dramatically safer for your nerves than fruit eaten alone as a snack. This single dietary change alone can meaningfully reduce nerve irritation. The third step is nutrient protection, and this is genuinely critical for every woman over 60 concerned about nerve health. Nerves require specific nutrients to maintain their structural integrity and function over time. Chief among these is vitamin B12. B12 is essential for maintaining the myelin sheath, the protective coating surrounding nerve fibers. Without sufficient B12, nerves become exposed, fragile, and prone to misfiring in ways that produce the burning and tingling so many seniors experience. Many older women are deficient in B12 without any awareness of it, particularly those taking acid-blocking medications or certain other commonly prescribed drugs. But B12 is not the only nutrient nerves depend on. Magnesium supports nerve signal transmission and reduces cramping and nighttime twitching. Folate works alongside B12 to actively protect nerve tissue. Alpha-lipoic acid helps reduce oxidative stress within nerve cells and has shown real improvement in neuropathy symptoms in clinical research settings. These nutrients do not cure established nerve damage, but they help stabilize and protect what remains, and that is genuinely valuable and worth prioritizing. One important caution here: more is never automatically better. Certain vitamins, particularly B6 in excessive doses, can actually worsen nerve damage when taken incorrectly without proper guidance. Testing and professional oversight matter significantly here. Always consult your healthcare provider before beginning any new supplements, especially if you are on existing medications or managing health conditions. The fourth step is reducing chronic inflammation actively. Inflammation sensitizes nerve tissue and dramatically amplifies pain signals throughout the body. It transforms mild nerve irritation into severe burning or stabbing pain that disrupts sleep and limits daily function. Highly processed foods, refined seed oils, and excessive sugar all fuel the inflammatory response. Foods like fatty fish, olive oil, colorful vegetables, and anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric actively help calm these pathways. Less inflammation means quieter nerves and less pain day and night. The fifth step is movement. but not the intense kind that most people assume is necessary. You absolutely do not need vigorous exercise to protect your nerves. In fact, aggressive exercise can worsen neuropathy symptoms significantly. What nerves genuinely need is improved circulation. Gentle walking, particularly after meals, helps lower post-meal blood sugar and improves blood flow to nerve tissue throughout the body. Even 10 minutes of easy walking after eating can make a measurable and meaningful difference. Movement is medicine when applied correctly and consistently. At this point, I want to address something important directly. Many senior women feel genuinely discouraged when they learn that nerve damage is slow to heal. That is true. Nerves regenerate very slowly, if at all, but stopping progression is just as meaningful and powerful as reversing damage. Less pain at night, better quality sleep, improved balance and steadiness, fewer dangerous falls. These changes are genuinely significant and they transform daily life in ways that matter deeply. One of the most harmful messages seniors receive is that nothing can be done, and that continued deterioration is simply the expected and unavoidable trajectory. That belief itself becomes dangerous. I have seen women accept that framing and worsen rapidly because the poison was never identified or removed from their daily life. Let me share one more story. One of my patients in her early 70s came to see me relying on a cane for basic stability. She felt chronically unsteady and was genuinely afraid of falling with every step. She had been told definitively that her neuropathy was permanent and progressive and that she should simply manage expectations. When we stabilized her blood sugar, corrected her nutrient deficiencies, and eliminated liquid sugar from her daily routine, her nerve pain reduced enough that she stopped being afraid to walk short distances without her cane. She did not become pain-free, but she regained her confidence and her sense of independence. For her, that was everything. This brings us to a point I consider absolutely crucial for every woman watching this. Neuropathy is not simply about pain. It is about independence. It is about being able to feel the ground beneath your feet reliably, to react quickly when your balance shifts unexpectedly, to trust your legs to carry you safely through your daily life. Once neuropathy progresses too far, the risk of falls rises sharply, and falls are one of the most serious and consequential threats to senior health, independence, and long-term well-being. That is why timing matters so much. Early nerve damage responds considerably better to intervention than advanced damage. Tingling and mild numbness are warning signals, not final verdicts. They are your body communicating clearly that something needs to change before it becomes too late to meaningfully influence the outcome. Now, let me give you a straightforward, practical action plan you can begin implementing over the next 2 to 4 weeks starting today. First, remove liquid sugar completely. No juice, no sweetened drinks, no fruit-based smoothies of any kind. Second, pair all carbohydrates with protein or healthy fat every single time. Never eat carbohydrates in isolation. Third, eat fruit only after complete meals in small portions, never as a standalone snack on an empty stomach. Fourth, walk for 10 minutes after eating whenever possible. This actively lowers post-meal blood sugar and meaningfully improves circulation to nerve tissue. Fifth, if you have not had your B12 levels tested recently, ask your doctor specifically for that test at your very next appointment. Sixth, be aware that certain medications may be quietly depleting critical nerve nutrients, but never adjust or discontinue medications independently without direct medical guidance and supervision. Observe what changes in your body over the following weeks. Pay careful attention to your symptoms. Many women notice reduced burning at night, improved sleep quality, and steadier balance within just a few weeks of consistent application. Even modest early improvements carry real significance because they demonstrate clearly that the damage is not yet permanently fixed in stone. Here is something I want to state very plainly before we finish today. Anyone promising a complete miracle cure for neuropathy is simply not being honest with you. But anyone telling you that absolutely nothing can be done is equally and dangerously wrong. There is a wide and meaningful space between those two positions, and that is precisely where real sustainable progress actually lives. Neuropathy is typically the result of years of quiet, cumulative damage. It stands to reason that meaningful improvement requires consistent time and effort, but removing the poison is always and without exception the essential first step that everything else depends on. Your nerves are precious. They allow you to feel, to move with confidence, to maintain your balance, to remain independent and engaged in the life you want to live. Once they are damaged beyond a certain threshold, recovery becomes extraordinarily difficult. But if you catch the problem early, if you remove the poison, if you give your body the specific nutrients and stable conditions it requires, you can often stop the progression and preserve what matters most: your quality of life, your mobility, your confidence, your independence. Before you go, comment below with your age and where you are watching from today. Tell me, are you currently experiencing any of these nerve symptoms? Have you been told it is simply aging and nothing more can be done? Have you tried removing liquid sugar or pairing your carbohydrates with protein yet? I read every single comment and genuinely love hearing from this community. If this video helped you understand what is actually happening to your nerves, please share it with someone who needs this information right now. So many people are suffering unnecessarily because they have accepted the narrative that nothing can be done. Knowledge like this can genuinely change the direction of someone's health. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more strategies designed specifically for senior health and lasting independence. Remember, protecting your nerves starts with identifying the poison and removing it from your daily life. You have far more control over this than you have ever been led to believe. I am Dr. Lauren Hayes. Stay strong, stay informed, and I will see you in the next video.